promoting and supporting some of the cornerstones of the American experience. It's all about family, faith, and freedom. Now let's get back to the Curtis Report with your host, Barry Curtis.
Hey, thanks. Welcome back to the Curtis Report. As always, we appreciate you joining us, and thank you for making us the #1 conservative Christian talk radio show on Sundays. If you're listening to Conservative Christian Talk Radio, you're listening to us, the Curtis Report on Sundays. I'm your humble host, Barry Curtis. We appreciate you joining us each Sunday. We do this thing every Sunday betwixt the hours of 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. every single Sunday. Thank you for making us #1. It is greatly appreciated. Thank you very much. And you can always follow along with this on our website, thecurtisreport.com. thecurtisreport.com will take you to the main website, or thecurtisinitiative.com will take you to that website there, where you'll see bios, photos of former guests, current guests, future guests. Follow along with us, and people, if they're pushing a book, or we have lots of Christian authors and Christian recording artists, so on and so forth. Whatever may be the case, you can find their links, their information right there, as well as some original content from Larry Kelly and other folks who contribute to our show. It is much appreciated. Also, some columns of mine from old newspaper columns and current commentaries on this and that sort of thing. So feel free to indulge. That's thecurtisreport.com or thecurtisinitiative.com. Will take you to the same place. Also, follow along with us on Twitter, Barry's USA. Twitter at Barry's USA. Tweet me. Follow along with us on Twitter. Before the break, we were talking about the fire marshal of McKinney, Texas. And of course, you all here in the Dallas-Fort Worth area know where McKinney is. It's north of Dallas, a suburb, very affluent suburb, north of Dallas. That's McKinney, Texas. We're talking about the disgraced fire marshal, Dwayne Henderson. Now, Dwayne Henderson was the subject of an investigation, actually 2 investigations. He's been placed on leave for a while, paid leave, paid for by the citizens of McKinney, Texas, but paid leave. Then after that paid leave part had expired, they reassigned him temporarily. So he's still getting paid, reassigned temporarily, but he still holds that title of fire marshal of the city of McKinney, Texas. There had been a number of employees under his watch, under his subordination, that complained on him and said that his office, in their opinion, was highly dysfunctional, and that the fire marshal, Dwayne Henderson, used bad judgment. I don't know what's going on in McKinney, because if you remember, last year, McKinney's police chief was investigated for similar accusations, poor judgment and dysfunctionality there in the office. I mean, that was a police chief last year. Now we got the fire marshal. You know, I mean, anytime you call 911, apparently in McKinney, you might have a problem. I don't know. But here's the deal. Dwayne Henderson investigated. Before the break, we were talking about the first issue that was highly suspect that Dwayne Henderson was involved with. And that was in February of 2009. Henderson reportedly asked a McKinney police officer, get this, Henderson went over to a McKinney police officer and said, hey, I want you to follow me. This is the fire marshal of McKinney, Texas. Said, police officer, can you follow me, please? I want to go to the local hospital, and I want to confront a female, his lover, his girlfriend. He wanted the police officer present while he confronted her and accused her of being unfaithful to him. Now, get this. I mean, let me ask you, folks, there in McKinney. Let me ask you, gentlemen, there in McKinney. If you ever feel like you need to speak to your wife or your girlfriend about your relationship, about her being potentially unfaithful, do you call a police officer? Or do you pick up the phone, or do you go over to her place or whatever be the case and talk to her? Why would you ask for a police officer to accompany you? Isn't that arrogant? Isn't that egotistical? That is the epitome of a sick and distorted mentality of a politician. That we're going to take McKinney's finest off the street to accompany him to personally confront his girlfriend that he feels was being unfaithful to him. Unbelievable. The police officer, that's the person he asked to accompany him there, reported Henderson later looked at him with a half grin. Get this. The fire marshal now, McKinney, Texas, this is what the police officer swore to, is that Henderson later looked at him with a half grin and asked, get this, what is a crime of passion? No, let's back up here just a second. Back up here just a second. The fire marshal of McKinney, Texas, asked a police officer to accompany him to confront a young lady that was his girlfriend, I guess, at the time, or someone he's seen, about potentially being unfaithful. I mean, what's this police officer supposed to do? Just stand there and watch him talk? I mean, what's the role of the police officer there? Are they the mediators and go-between between girlfriend and boyfriends and somebody accusing somebody of being unfaithful? Is that what the McKinney police officer's for? Your own personal security guard there to prevent maybe some guy she's with from assaulting you, or you assaulting some guy, or you assaulting her, or her assaulting you? I don't know what he was assuming. Well, but this statement he makes, this is bizarre. He ought to be fired for that statement alone. Again, this is the fire marshal of McKinney, Texas. You folks in McKinney, you ought to be up in arms over this idiot. In McKinney, Texas, this Dwayne Henderson, your fire marshal, he makes that comment, according to the police officer. What is a crime of passion? What is he implying there? You know, generally when we speak of crimes of passion, we speak of a violent criminal act as a result of extreme control happening over a love triangle, or a man attempting to exert extreme control over a female, walking in on someone. When you're supposed to be in a relationship with her and seeing something you shouldn't see, and this violent act of a crime of passion that comes forward. I don't know what he's implying there. But that is a suspect statement. It is an inappropriate statement. And frankly, it's the one that the officer probably should have followed back up on. I don't know who this young lady is, but when you have a gentleman making a statement like that, maybe her future safety could be at stake. So, McKinney police officer, maybe you need to investigate that part. Someone is somewhat threatening a crime of passion against the young female. This is coming again from the fire marshal of the city of McKinney, Texas. The lieutenant of the police officer ordered that officer not go with Henderson, who apparently drove to the hospital on his own. But get this. According to the report, there is an official police report, several police units arrived at the hospital looking for Henderson. They were that concerned. This man just made some comment about a crime of passion. This is a fire marshal of McKinney, Texas, making a comment on the crime of passion. And the lieutenant of the police officer had enough sense to say, don't go with this guy. You don't want to be witness to something. You need to be there preventing it, not being a witness to something. That was a smart move. So he orders the police to go and to follow Henderson and to see what he's up to. So the police officers, several police units arrived at the hospital looking for Henderson. The police found him in the parking lot talking to a woman and waited at the hospital until Henderson left. This is your fire marshal, McKinney, Texas. What is that incident? What does it take for somebody to be fired in the city of McKinney? It gets a little deeper than that. In another incident last year, this was in 2014, Henderson's girlfriend, I think this is a different girl. We're unsure if this is the same one. Henderson's girlfriend allegedly was having dinner at the station, the fire station. You know, that's city property, taxpayer property. Henderson's girlfriend's up there eating free food, I guess. There in the fire station. I guess he can just feed his little concubines, his little girlfriends there at the expense of the city taxpayers there in McKinney, right? So he's got his little girlfriend up there, apparently, according to this report. And the girlfriend allegedly having dinner at the station when another woman involved with Henderson showed up. So He's sitting here eating with one woman, and another lady shows up. This stuff, you can't make this stuff up. This is your fire marshal in McKinney, Texas. You know, I'm up against a hard break here. We're going to take a quick break and be right back with more of the Curtis Report in just a moment.